Hi Anti-Society, welcome back to the Anti-Social Planet, and today we are watching episodes 306 and 307 of Bleach. So I know that some people wanted me to watch episodes 307 and 308 together. I got some of that feedback when I was doing my live stream the other day, and I hear you, I hear what you're saying. I'm not going to be able to fill up 3 episodes today, so we're going to do 2. I promise you won't have to wait very long to see episode 308. We'll get to it, I promise. So in the last episode, we had some interesting things happening. We had, because we went through 3 episodes, a lot has been going on, and we're at the nearing the end of this arc. So we have Aizen turning into something new. I'm not really sure exactly what it is. It doesn't seem quite holification, but it's sort of holification, and he's got the hogyaku in like his chest, and he's got the purple eyes. He's got some like higher levels of spiritual pressure. We saw him like destroy the cleaner that's been in the like precipice, the little in-between place between like the living world and Soul Society when you like go through, well, I mean like Soul World, it's not just Soul Society, but a little gate thing, that in between, and that is like something he should not be able to do, which is especially pointed out by Gin. But we have Ichigo hanging out in that little in-between spot because it warps time. So we have Ichigo and Ishin, well, mostly Ichigo. Ishin's there to supervise, figuring out how to do this Tensa sort of attack, because Tensa Sengetsu is who we've met in Ichigo's internal world. It's Sengetsu, but in a slightly different form. And we saw White Ichigo in a different form too, much closer to this like ultimate hollow form thing that Ichigo was in when he was fighting Ulquiorra. So we have kind of those 3 in Ichigo's internal world, which is all flooded, which makes me so sad because I know that that means that it was raining so much. It only does that when he loses hope, and it's a bad sign, but we know that Ichigo's been going through some stuff emotionally for the last little bit. So Ichigo is currently fighting against all these different sides of himself and his abilities. I hope that he comes to some kind of decision that it's all part of who he is. I'm really waiting for that moment, because I've been waiting for that since we like met White Ichigo, that he's just gonna have to like have it all blend together and accept that that's who he is. But we have that going on with Ichigo, and then in the Soul Society, where all the members of Ichigo's hometown, or the hometown itself, because there's building and stuff there too, got teleported. We have some of the people who are able to sense spiritual pressure that are waking up. Everyone else is asleep or knocked out or unconscious in some way. And so we have Tatsuki, who is, walking around and realizing what's going on, and what's his name? One of Ichigo's other school friends, who we know has like some spiritual awareness because of his interactions with Ikagu and Yomichika. So we have those 2 who were trying to find out where their friends were, trying to figure out what's going on, and unfortunately came face to face with Aizen, who's decided that maybe killing off some of Ichigo's friends will be a nice push in the right direction for Ichigo, which I don't want that to be the case. I don't want that to be how this is going to go down. So that's where we left things off, with a little brief little snippet of who might have shown up to save the day, and it looks like Kanonji, which is always a fun time. So maybe we'll have a little bit of lighthearted energy in this next episode. I didn't get to see a preview because we had some filler in the middle there. So let's just get into episode 306. In 3, 2, 1, go. Have they fully formed together? Because it looks like it. Matsumoto's in the sweat, isn't she? I'm not ready for whatever's gonna happen with Matsumoto. Just I'm already tense about it. I've also like I was listening to Sid earlier today because I've had it stuck in my head because of this opener. And I forgot that I used to enjoy them. I'm very like I don't know where this is gonna go, you know? I had someone ask in my live stream what I thought was gonna happen in Bleach, and I was like, honestly, how should I know? Because whenever I think I know what's gonna happen, it goes like slightly off of what I said. It's fine. I'll be fine. I do have tissues right there though, because I'm just waiting for the moment when it's an episode that's gonna make me cry. I totally forgot that like I didn't fully register that the skyscrapers were gone too. Yeah, it's like the whole world is like sunk down and flooded. I do need people to stop like stabbing Ichigo in the chest though. It happens a remarkable number of times for someone who is still like alive and functioning. I like that like white Ichigo has like more touches of like black detailing. And then you have like Zangetsu who was more like had more like black features, has like more like white detailings in his costume, so it does already feel like they're starting to like become more closely associated with each other. It's true. He did warn you and you did die. Just saying. Oh, I guess he wouldn't know, would he? He wouldn't have seen it. That it was different. He would have seen it from the outside. Mm-hmm. Freaked me out too. That's what it looked like at the beginning. That it was gonna be like both together. I thought that that's kind of what it was earlier anyway, with like Sengetsu looking differently, that it would have something to do with White Ichigo. Because they're both one and the same now. It's all you, Ichigo. That's what I'm saying. It's all yours, Ichigo. You gotta face it and accept that it's all one thing. I mean, they were able to, like, yeah, maintain their existence. Like, they didn't just poof out of existence like that other poor guy that woke up. Asano. That was his name. To the rescue! Oh, I love him. He's so chaotic. I love him. Mm-hmm. Yes, you are. It's complicated. I don't know whether to be impressed with him standing up against Aizen or concerned that it might be a bad move. But I also feel like he's smarter than he seems. Like we've seen him legitimately like understand the spirit world better than he might seem on the outside. He's not gonna run. Is that a bit of a contradiction? I love that he did it. The I really don't think that that's gonna do much. But points for trying. Ooh, is that Matsumoto getting involved? Because we had it framed so we could see Geen for that too, to kind of see his reaction to her being there. Oh, I'm excited for the character growth, but I'm so nervous. Oof. He's been thrown through a lot of buildings over the last handful of episodes. Yeah, you'd better hurry up. Other stuff's going on. I know it's like time doesn't move the same way, but still. He's definitely not going to give up. He's, like Don Kanonji. Running away is not really his thing. I do like his fighting spirit is starting to come back, though. I'd like to see Ichigo a little bit more in his element. He doesn't look quite as, like, frightened as he did before. The smile's gone from Gin, which is a very interesting development. He usually keeps the smile, but not when it comes to her. She's not a civilian, so I think she'll be okay. Well, better than a civilian. I guess Tatsukita wouldn't know because Matsumoto was with Orihime when they were like hanging out in the living world. Ugh, look at him stepping in, trying to get her away. And I feel like Aizen knows like how important she is to Gin that he's kind of like pushing that, right? He wanted to see how he would react. I know I want that story so badly, but at the same time, see, the thing too is he's like intimidated by this power, but like it's his power. Ichigo, you're literally fighting yourself, which means he cannot be stronger than you. I'm just saying. I mean, maybe Zangetsu has some power like built into him, but like he's Ichigo Zanpakuto. Is he forcing him out somehow? Like out of his meditation? I'm not ready, you guys. Because of you. Oh, there's the smile gone again. I would also like to know that. It's a question I've had for a little bit. I feel like if you could tell anyone, it would be Matsumoto. I think she's more interested in what feeling betrayed herself. Is the necklace important? Excuse? I don't believe he'd attack her though. Like in a serious way, like he would like legitimately want to hurt her. Is he like aware of some of the stuff that's going on out outside? I wonder if like the water will start to like slowly like the levels will go down. See, it's just like I've always said, Ichigo fights better when he knows who he's fighting for. Yeah, if she wants to be put down, you're gonna have to put her down. Where did you get the sword? How is he able to hold it though? Isn't it his Zanpakuto? And he could just hold it? That feels like significant information. I still don't think he'd intentionally hurt her. I think he just wants her out of the way and like ensure that she won't like show up again. What is it? I think it probably is a good test of like his like faith in himself and his hope, you know? If he like continues to keep fighting him, even though he gets knocked down because he wants to protect his friends. Oh, Ishen. Using up a lot of his spiritual pressure. Oh, that must be so difficult too. To like see that his son is like going through enough to like, he's like bleeding and stuff like that and like not being able to do anything about it. Oh, Rocky's is Punked is also a band that I know. New Ender. You know, it's remarkable how many of the bands have done music for this show that I just know without having seen Bleach until now. Well, I guess it's been like almost a year now that I've been watching it, so it feels new. It still feels like I'm new to Bleach. Ah, Sato, my sweet boy. Oh, these are like some of the clips from like the first season. It feels, like when he was just like hanging out, going to school. Fighting just like hollows, not having to deal with like people uh trying to become gods and stuff. Oh, that's the clip when he saved Rukia. Makes me nostalgic. Ichigo's friends banding together a little bit. And the Soul Reaper that like took over. Oh, idolizing you? Sure, that's what happened. That's exactly how the story went. This seems more realistic. I find it always interesting when we get a little glimpse into Gein's reactions to Matsumoto being around. I pointed out that his smile slipped a couple of times when interacting with her, which very much feels like, the mask kind of coming off. He kind of keeps the same expression all the time when he's around other people, but like the moment it was Matsumoto standing in front of Aizen, he couldn't contain that look anymore, and he was trying very hard to convince Aizen like, oh, I'll take care of it, like don't worry, like she's not worth your time. And Aizen, I felt, was kind of pushing him, knowing that Matsumoto is his weak point. I feel like Aizen is smart enough to have figured that out. Like I figured it out, Aizen can definitely figure it out. And then having Gein jump in and kind of go against Aizen's will, not exactly orders, but like what he was, he said he was gonna go up against Matsumoto and deal with that issue, and Gein decided to just run off and kind of, I think, just like knock her out. I don't think he legitimately hurt her in any like super damaging way. Like I feel like he just wanted to ensure that she was out of the way and that she wasn't just gonna like show up later and try to pick a fight with Aizen again. I don't believe for a second that he would actually do anything to hurt her. I don't think he has that in him, regardless of what he might have done to other characters in the past. But I also really like the interaction between them where Matsumoto was like, I need to know why you betrayed Kira like that. Like he trusted you so much. And Gein immediately seeing through that and being like, is it Kira that you're upset with? Like, are you upset that I betrayed Kira? Or you like basically implying like, are you upset that I betrayed you? And them definitely gonna have to deal with that in some way. Like that's something we're gonna have to come back to at some point and deal with. Whether or not that is going to happen within the next 4 episodes, I don't know. but it's gonna make me cry. I just know it, and I'm not ready. Also getting some interesting moments with Ichigo and him kind of finding his resolve again, him being aware of sort of, it looked like he was becoming a little bit more aware that like Tatsuki was in danger and Aizen, finding his friends and stuff like that, and him becoming aware that if he does nothing, who's going to protect his friends, which is something that Ishin brought up. Like, if you're not going to help protect your hometown, like, I'm like, what are we going to do? Like, I'm going to go do it. Are you going to come with me? It was kind of the way of Ishin pushing him to be where he is. And I feel like Sengetsu is doing a very similar thing in that he's pushing Ichigo to, kind of pushing him down and defeating him and, kind of pushing and pushing and pushing, trying to see if Ichigo will get back up. Like, I think that that's kind of where the test is like, at what point does Ichigo's resolve get to a point that he just gonna like keep getting up and keep getting up and wanting to see what the limit is, if there is a limit to that. And Ichigo, being the stubborn person he is, he's just like becoming more and more resolved to win and find out what this technique is and get back to his friends and protect them. And I think that a really important thing to point out is that we did have Zangetsu and White Ichigo like becoming one thing, and there were like similarities that they had, like similar traits. We've seen them kind of absorb and be part of each other. Like, we had Zangetsu where like White Ichigo dissolved into him, and then we had White Ichigo where Zangetsu dissolved into him instead. And here we see them like truly like morphing together. You can see traits of both of them, and Ichigo having to face that. And I feel like that's a great step in the direction of Ichigo like finally accepting that it's like all one thing. Like, it isn't like Hollow Ichigo, it isn't Soul Reaper Ichigo, it isn't human Ichigo, it's like all one thing that is Ichigo and who he is. So I don't know if that'll happen as he figures out this attack before he goes back, or if that's going to be something that he continues to have to work through, but it looks like a step in the right direction as he continues to struggle through that. Hopefully he figures something out soon, because Aizen is still tracking down his friends and deciding that they will be a good kind of leverage point for his own plans to push Ichigo in the way that he wants, which he's had success with in the past. So hoping that that gets resolved. And of course, Kanonji being part of this, being chaotic, being a delight. Love that he got to come back. I don't know why they decided to bring him back for this moment, but I'm happy. I'm maybe just to like relieve some tension, because it's been a lot for the last little bit. So I did like getting to see him again and have his chaotic energy to kind of balance out some of the panic that I feel about most of the rest of this. But let's just get into episode 307. In 3, 2, 1, go. Starting with an explosion. Probably not good. Mr. Afro. What's happening to Aizen? Wait. Okay, but like honestly, these little things at the beginning where it's like random clips from the episode, I understand that they're trying to hook me into watching the episode, which I mean, honestly, at this point, I'm gonna watch all the episodes anyway. But they stress me out so much. Like, I only have questions. Because it almost looked like something with wings, like butterfly. Something seemed to have happened to Aizen. I don't know what's going on anymore. Which, I mean, sometimes I do. I like predict things, or I make good observations. I don't know how stressful this episode is gonna be. It's like the one skyscraper still in Ichigo's internal world, and he got thrown through it. They aren't like standing sideways in it anymore. That was like a thing earlier on where he was never like oriented quite right. Can't quite keep the smile. I want to know if the necklace is important. Like, I'm assuming it is, or they wouldn't have like focused on it. So I'm assuming there's some kind of backstory between them and the necklace that she always has on. I feel bad for Ishin here too. Not only because he's like using a bunch of his spiritual pressure, but also because like there's literally nothing he could do. And he doesn't like fully know what's going on because it's all just like inside of Ichigo. So he just has to like sit back and hope that it turns out okay. Just taking his time. I feel like mean is an understatement for Aizen. Yeah, they're awake too. Yeah, I was gonna say borrowed. He's like, don't worry too much about it. Look, don't ask too many questions. Did he borrow those too? It's true, there does seem to be a surplus of junk food there. Oh no. I think like dangerous is a slight understatement too of Aizen. Oh my goodness. I love that he's just like borrowing stuff from everywhere. Yeah, you're gonna need something better than a taser. Nope. Especially now. I don't know what he's turned into now, but it's something else. Yeah, that's true though. She probably hasn't been caught up in these situations before the way that the rest of them have. Yep. Yeah, you should probably. I mean, you can run, but I don't think it'll make much difference. Just looking through bottles, like what? He seems relaxed given the circumstances. I mean, you can probably. Ooh, gutsy. That's why we were looking at the bottles. He seems terribly relaxed given the whole circumstance. He's just like, everybody run. There's definitely a lot of mystery caught up in him. We had like that one episode where we got like some backstory. So there's definitely some stuff going on. It was a good effort though. You know, you definitely should not try to fight him. You really should not fight him. Aww. Don Kanonji is like legitimately just like a nice person, even if he's a little bit crazy. Getting his Zanpakuto back. He probably knows about him though, if he's a Soul Reaper. Like he probably knows like who Aizen is. But like also like he probably can't sense his spiritual pressure because like Urahara Urahara couldn't sense Aizen's spiritual pressure anymore. Like it was only Ichigo that really understood how much he had. So like all these people probably don't know how powerful of an opponent they have. Slightly awkward. Probably not to save you. But I wonder how Aizen will react to Gi just like going and doing his own thing. I don't believe it. I don't think Aizen believes it either. Her spiritual pressures disappeared though, which is an interesting. Uh, Interesting turn. I don't think it's because he killed her though. Clever to cover up her spiritual pressure though, to like play that off. So even he compares himself to a snake. Excuse me? Does it? Because you're not facing him. Why do I feel like he's saying that because he wants to save them? Wait, hold up. I thought maybe he'd be like sneaky about it. Like he would go after them and like not actually kill them or whatever. I didn't expect him to like straight up attack Aizen. Out of all of the matchups, like fights I was expecting, Gate and Aizen was not one of them. No way. Oh, he definitely a snake, but I'm kind of proud of him right now. That's so interesting that like it's true though, like the only one who would like know as much about Aizen is probably Gin. Like Gin probably knows the most. Really? It is kind of like snake, like venom, right? It's a good trick though, because he'd probably be like, oh, I can get hit once and it doesn't really matter because it's just like a normal sword. But it isn't. Dang, Gin. I mean, we all knew he was a little bit ruthless, right? But I was not expecting that confrontation. Is that the Hogyakyu? Or some process of making the Hogyakyu? So is he like poisoning like the Hogyakyu itself? Or like trying to get at it? And that's why he went for the chest? He got it though. Look at Keen having plans within plans. Like, and I pointed out before that I had like there were like little hints that he was trying to like disrupt Aizen's plan, but I didn't think that he would do that. Like that's like very like straight on and confrontational, whereas I was expecting him to be like maybe a little bit sneakier about what he was doing. It does make me wonder like what his plan is though. Like does he just want to kill Aizen, or like does he have some other plan, you know, in case something like that happens? Or like what to do with the Hogyaku? I mean, the Hogyaku probably already turned Aizen into something else, whether or not he had the Hogyaku. Guess I would like to know what that is. I would like to know what exactly Aizen is turning into right now. You get the feeling that the giant pillar of scary light might be a bad thing. Good observation. See, I was right about the wings. It almost seems like a moth, which is very hollow. Um, it's looking worried now. Yeah, didn't he say like he controls it now? So he probably has some kind of connection to it. Oh, Keen. Is this the part where he doesn't make it? Because I already predicted that Gate doesn't make it. Oh no. So he was looking for them? For what they did to Matsumoto? Oh, his eyes opening too, of like finally revealing like who he is. Yeah, I'm like, I don't think he makes it. I have uh I have so much to process now. I hope that we get like proper backstory in the next episode. Because I'd like to know how like Gin and Matsumoto like properly met each other, or like what their like friendship was, what the connection is really. my brain is like still trying to process everything. I was not expecting that to be how this the direction that this turned. We didn't get any Ichigo in that episode, and I didn't wonder about that storyline until like just now. I think that says a lot about how I was focused on other stuff. I need I need some kind of preview information, please. Oh, the next episode's gonna break my heart. I thought we had already left the Arrancar encyclopedia. Unceremoniously take it out. If you had asked me what kind of confrontations were going to be happening in this part as like more and more people went up against Aizen, Gin was not one of the people I would have guessed. I thought maybe Gin was going to be a little bit sneakier, a little bit more covert, where he was kind of picking apart parts of Aizen's plan to the point where like he didn't really know, like Aizen didn't really know what was going on until his plan started to kind of crumble around the edges. Like there were little moments within the last few episodes where you can see Gin kind of like the way that he was speaking to Ichigo and the way that he was like, oh, I'll do this, I'll take care of Matsumoto. We had him saying like, oh, I'll go after like this group of, you know, people that are like have woken up and like I'll deal with them so you don't have to, and him kind of, you know, doing these little things of deviance from what Aizen's plans were. And I thought that that would be kind of how Gin was involved in some way. Like he was trying to shift the plan now that we were getting closer and closer to like Aizen actually like succeeding. But I didn't expect like him to straight out attack Aizen in any way, let alone have like all of these layers and layers of like lies and deception and like going through all of these years of spending time with Aizen to get to this point where he could actually like have some kind of effective attack against him, and him saying like I'm the only one who can actually kill you, and all of this history of like why he's been working to this point is just not what I was expecting whatsoever. And I'm really, really hoping that we are going to get backstory in the next episode because I want to know kind of the setup. I get kind of the idea of it of like someone who works for Aizen attacked Matsumoto and Gin have some kind of friendship, some kind of connection. So him trying to track down who that person was, who the boss was, like he said, and take revenge for that in some way, and kind of working from that moment where he's like, well, I can't kill him now because I'm not powerful enough. I don't know how to defeat him. So like spending all that time next to him, learning as much as he could about Aizen, like he said, like spending years to get like that one piece of information that touching his Aizen's Zanpakuto is the way to like counter the illusions. So like working for years to get to that point to have the information that he needed to actually get an attack in that would be effective in some way. So I get that part of it, but I'd really love to just like get some more details about like the relationship of Gin and Matsumoto, and then also like how Gin found his way into Aizen's kind of ranks and rising to the point where he was like his lieutenant, and then eventually leaving and helping him when they went to Las Noches and all of that. So I'd like to kind of see the setup of that relationship. But it also looks like my prediction was correct, that Gin probably isn't gonna make it past the next episode. I called it a little while ago where I was like, I feel like because we had Tosen and Tosen's fight with all of his like backstory and stuff ended with him dying, that I was like, I don't feel good about Gin surviving through this, especially not now that he's like betrayed Aizen, gone up against him, and like Aizen saying like, "Oh, I knew that this was your intention. I just wanted to see how you were gonna pull it off." But I definitely don't think that Aizen would let Gin just walk away from this encounter. Like he like vaporized Tosun, and Tosun was like super loyal and like didn't do anything like to attack Aizen specifically. So I definitely don't think that Gin is going to survive this, and I'm very, very worried about my emotional state when that happens because Matsumoto will probably find out. I don't think she's dead. I think Gin has like done something to like knock her unconscious and like hide her spiritual pressure, because obviously a lot of his kind of tricks and like what his actual power set are things that he's lied to Aizen about. So Aizen doesn't actually know like how his Zanpakuto works and like what his abilities really are, his specialties and stuff like that, because Gin has kept that a secret. So I'm assuming that Matsumoto is like completely fine, because I don't think that Gin would do anything to hurt her. So I'm not ready to cry, but I probably will. Just calling it right now. You can click this playlist to go and see my previous reactions, or you can subscribe so you don't miss the next time I post a Bleach video, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!